Hello, and welcome to Inches and Cubes, a Warhammer 40k podcast presented by Encounter Wargaming. Our fearless hosts are me, Paul Mr. Fist Fowler,
Point and click Nick Kozlo,
and
Adam Truax, the truest axe to ever axe an axe.
And we'll be guiding you through our favorite parts of the hobby, so grab your cubes and come with us.
Hello and welcome to Inches and Cubes, episode number 6. Last episode, just in case you're interested, we talked a lot about our first impressions of the new edition of 40k, woot woot, which we're all really excited about. And we did kind of a little minor faction focus on each of our armies now that we're learning all the new rules and little tricks that they can all do. So if you're interested, go back and check that out. And today we are actually going to talk about how to start a gaming club and our experiences learning along the way as we think we've put together a pretty good one. And so we're going to talk about our learnings and talk about our tips and kind of compare and contrast with some different models of doing gaming clubs. But first, as always, we have a special guest. Actually, I guess that's not always, but today we do.
It wouldn't be special if it was always.
Yeah, it's true.
So, not our usual type of special guest that we would plan on having. This is actually a homegrown hero from Encounter Wargaming itself. We have Jason Booth. Jason, how you doing, man?
Pretty good.
Hey, Jay.
Jason, Kitbasha Booth.
Kitbasha Booth.
You can't come on the show without a nickname.
Hey, man, why don't you tell everybody who's uniquely a podcast listener and may not have seen our intro to the YouTube channel where you've already given your hobby resume, but why don't you just go over it one more time for everybody who listens to the podcast?
All right, well, first of all, I'm happy to finally be on the podcast.
Yeah.
There's a wait list. What can we say?
There's a big gorilla in a suit with a velvet rope that lets people in.
Well, it's nice to just be in front of the microphone instead of just doing all the behind the scenes all the time.
Hold on. Is the gorilla you?
No, it's, guys, watch Roger Rabbit, get woke.
Oh, like,
Gorilla in a tux.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez, guys.
I mean, obviously, I would hope that a lot of you guys have seen our channel, Encounter Wargaming, hence what led you to this, our awesome podcast. So, I guess my hobby resume, I've been playing this game for like 20 years. I did work for Games Workshop for a short time. In fact, for relatively the same time that Adam also worked for Games Workshop, even though we did not know each other at the time.
yeah, it's across
But
the
have
city.
become great friends since. I started this game in 2nd edition, playing orcs, and I've been playing orcs ever since. I have played every form of orcs that I can. When I got into War Machine, I tried Troll Bloods, just because they're orcs. And I've even considered going Gremlins and Malifaux, just because they're pretty much orcs. So it's all about orcs. I have dabbled in many miniature games. Obviously, you guys can see our Malifaux. We're getting into Infinity right now. As I just said, I used to play Hordes. I play Warhammer 40,000. I actually haven't tried the new Warhammer Age of Sigmar yet, but I'm really interested in getting into that. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Just
They have orcs in that.
It's true, they do.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
Or Rux.
Or Rux.
Or Rux.
And Iron Jaws.
Registered copyright.
Two different
Orux.
things?
Yeah, Iron Jaws are different than the Oryx.
Well,
Like,
it's,
yeah,
just it's one faction of Orux, is my understanding.
Like, you can't change an O to, like, an OU diphthong, and then, like...
A lot of people were upset about the Oruk.
Yeah,
Like, where did that even come from?
Stop it.
Just change the C to a K like you did for 40K and
Yeah.
call it a day.
Well, I remember when they used to be called Space Orcs.
That's
With a
true.
Z.
But they did spell it with a K.
And a Z?
No, with an S.
No.
But,
In my heart, it's a Z.
It'll always be a
It's
Z.
got to be a Z.
Kind of like how I can never write the word laser without a Z. And I know it's wrong, but I'm like, nope. No.
Laser's an acronym.
I know.
You can't do that. Okay. Moving on.
Sorry.
We're going to do what we always do at the beginning of the show and jump into some hobby progress. Adam, why don't you start us off?
Indeed. Oh, I'm so excited. So I did some tooling around for my 8th edition Sisters of Battle army and finished off 4 Sisters of Battles with Storm Bolters and a little Canoness because she gives a cool little boost to people around her. So did that. And then I've also base coated and washed a Contemptor Dreadnought, a Praetor Tribune, and the War Master himself for my 30k army.
Are we gonna have another cheesy Primarch on our hands?
I think so.
Yeah.
You can't run Horus though.
Dude, don't talk to me.
We've been over this. Like it says, Horus can only be included in a traitor army, and you don't play traitors, so you can't even use it.
Guys, I'm forging that narrative, and I'm pulling back the timeline a little bit.
Yeah. Just
Horus has traveled through time.
doesn't he?
No.
No, he just sees the past, which I guess is just learning.
I can see the past. It's called watching a documentary.
Yeah, it's reading a book.
Yeah, so Adam's just abusing the fluff for his own gaming purposes.
That's what I do.
Fight
Whatever, man. Everybody's got to have a primer.
Yeah.
You know what's cool is actually his model on his both his legs at the very bottom and his kneecaps and his shoulder pads is all the Luna wolf head still.
That's cool.
That's
interesting.
cool.
Yeah. Because all they did was just take our armor and paint it black, right?
Yeah.
Or the dark green.
Then black.
I feel like Horse's armor changed over the course of the heresy, though, did it not?
Oh, yeah.
Did it not get darker and like
he
a lot more
got
of those,
really demonic.
those cat's eye looking things all over?
Yeah.
Although I have Horus.
Yeah, but I noticed it's on like Sanguinius and stuff too, and like
Well, because it was on his original
on the
armor.
Emperor's armor and stuff.
Yeah, they were pals. Like, Sanguinius was, like, best friends with Horus.
Mm-hmm.
Like best friends. Like they went to movies together. So, Jay, what have you been working on in the past couple weeks?
Well, I've been working really hard to get my 30K stuff up and running. I'm finally trying to get my Iron Warriors painted for July, not only for the campaign in a day that our good friend Chaz is running, but also for our little visit to Mini Wargaming coming up. So this past week, I have finished painting my 20 inducted levies that I converted out of the Acadians with the Skitarii heads, just to add some Mechanicus feel to the army.
Oh, I saw those. Those do look really good.
Yeah.
They look cool.
I've also base coated and washed 23 Death Corps of Krieg to be used in that army as well. So I've got the Kriegers as like the normal infantry, and then the Acadian conversions as levies.
That'll look awesome.
I really want to.
Are you running like, is that like a separate detachment, or are you running like an Army of Dark compliance type thing?
No, it's Imperial Cults and Militia Allied Detachment.
Nice.
Basically, just to allow me to use Lehman Russes in my Iron Warriors army.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Because why not?
Yeah.
More ordnance templates, the better.
What's a template?
Yeah.
Oh, he went there.
Yeah, I gotta dig those up. I buried them last weekend.
Still usable in 30K. Still usable in Shadow War. I've started layering my last tactical squad for that army. So they've already been base coated, washed. I'm layering them up right now. And I base coated 10 commandos for my Orc army because I thought that could be a fun little addition now that 8th edition.
Busy guy.
Yeah,
Things aren't, well, yeah, I have a lot more time now. Last 2 days I've just been painting nonstop, so it's been good.
Yeah, so for my hobby progress, I'm trying to get the Death Watch tooled up for 8th edition now. The Forge World book was released. One of our friends has the digital one, so I was poring over that last night while I wait for my book to ship. I dug through my bits box, found the heavy bolter sponsons for my Fire Raptor because they're gross, and I like pointing and clicking and killing things.
That's the nickname.
Yeah, hence the nickname. Not a whole lot of hobby progress, just basically tooling around with different weapon loads and getting some of my unpainted Death Watch stuff retooled to better fit 8th edition. There you go. Polly?
So I put a bunch of legs for a new squad of breachers on bases.
You can finally run that right away.
Yeah, because I want to pay that 600 point tax in 30K to run the Imperial Fist specific Stone Gauntlet. I've just taken the Marines from the Calth box and going to make them into breachers. I have the boarding shields from Forge World, the upgrades. Those are cool kits. They are like, I noticed that the casts are a bit thin here and there, so I might have to do a little green stuff work. Started popping out bits from the Primaris Marines that were in Dark Imperium and realized that I did not have the instructions, and those sprues are cut in a way that makes no logical sense. Like,
dry fitting, man.
Well, this is the thing. Like, I want the instructions. They're not very customizable. I'm going to go in and do like a couple of head swaps here and there just to like, make them look as unique as I can. And I'm going to hold off on assembling the Captain and Gravis armor just because today they released a picture of a new Captain. He's sporting a plasma pistol, which means we're either going to get another kit or we're going to be able to take different equipment. And I don't like to commit, and I want to... Don't make that face.
I don't like to commit.
I don't like to commit to my models. Or the equipment on my models. So I'm gonna try and work a way to like magnetize maybe the plasma pistol. I'm hoping we'll get like new cool equipment once the specific book comes out.
Just hopefully soon, because I'm pretty stoked about that new tank.
Yeah,
And that new Dreadnought. We all forgot about the Dreadnought.
Big ass dreadnought.
Yeah.
Ed 209.
So I'm curious. So you were talking about different weapons options. Like, how customizable are they in the Space Marine Codex? Like, this is like
They're not.
Nothing.
They're not?
right
It's
now.
just straight
Zero
up. You
options.
take 5.
0 options.
It's
even for the commander and lieutenant. It's just
Yeah.
he's armed with a storm gauntlet.
No. You can, okay, so you can swap out. They all come. The lieutenants come with a bolt gun, and you can trade it for a power sword.
Yeah, so
I think
you
that's
can,
it for the lieutenant.
you can
Okay.
build the way they are in the box.
Right.
So it seems like it's a nice halfway point by GW to be like, all right, we know you're going to want to use these in 40K. We don't want to give away what we've like written rules wise, so they're snap fit. Here's what they do.
Yeah,
Run them like that.
So even in the current index, you can't customize their weapon options?
Yeah.
yeah, not one
That
bit.
seems awfully silly.
Well, no, because they're going to be the first Codex released, probably within a month or two.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to see a lot of different stuff coming out in the
hotness.
next little while.
Yeah. So
Like, think about the Dark Vengeance kit, right? The old starter set. Like, that was just monopose stuff. Like, you really couldn't do a lot with it. It's the same with this. It's just
But
like,
rules wise, you still had options. Like I converted the crap out of those.
yeah,
models.
you definitely could.
I didn't use any of them straight out of the box.
yeah, but this is like a soft launch for an entirely new faction if they want
That's
it to
fair.
be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so it's interesting. And then one thing on Hobby Progress we forgot to mention, all 3 of us, Jay was involved in this on his own time. We finished all the tables.
oh my God, we finished all the
It's
tables.
It took all day. We were there Thursday night late,
Yep.
and then it took all day Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we
got
got
it
them done. Like they were buzzer beaters too.
Yep.
Like we had to have them done for Saturday, and it was like Friday at like 4:00. We were just leaving like the astronauts from Armageddon getting off that ship. We were like, it's done. We lost a few dudes on the way, but it's done.
And I gotta say, if you haven't, people listening to the podcast, if you hadn't had a chance to check out the Hogtown Facebook page, go on there, find the pictures of the demon table, and just bask in its glory.
Turned out quite well.
It turned out really good.
I
played,
was getting some good stares at it today when I was at the store.
It's a lot of fun to play on, and it just looks good.
I saw a couple people playing on it on Saturday, and they were just having a blast.
Yeah. So what we did is we designed a demon table with kind of like floating platforms about a foot above the table. And then after we designed it, we were like, how do you actually get on top of these things? So what we did is one of our club members, he's not a club member yet, one of our community members,
Yeah.
donated a whole bunch of those old Chaos Shrines that had like the little portals. So we put a gateway on the bottom of each base of the floating platforms, because these things are big. They're like a foot around.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And one on the top. And we just made a house rule where it's like you can move through the portal as if it's your movement phase, and it works.
I thought you guys just put that on there for decoration.
No, it's got a purpose.
Wow. I was thinking
functional.
only jump infantry and like land speeders and stuff are going to be able to get up here. And
Well, you can. That's we'll
Those
get-
as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, of course.
Because I watched Mike play Space Wolves against Phil Zeldar on Saturday, and like Phil Zeldar were literally like jet biking around, and Mike's like, I gotta run a dreadnought through a portal, and I gotta run up there and catch you.
I mean, that sounds awesome.
It does.
That sounds like the sort of scenes that like got me into this hobby.
Well,
It's
there was such a cinematic thing, and I think 8th is getting cinematic. I guess we'll just move into games played or games observed.
Yeah.
Because I was watching Phil and Mike play the Relic, and Phil had the Relic with like a unit of, I think it was Swooping Hawks, and he was like getting ready to jump across to the next platform, and then Mike just brought a bunch of Terminators down from Deep Strike on the edge of that platform and was like, you're not going anywhere.
You can't escape.
yeah.
So it was lots of fun. So Adam, I know you came on Saturday. How were your games?
Yep. So first off, that event was amazing.
Yeah.
We did a big event. Everybody in the club and our entire Facebook group was invited, and we set up 10 tables, of which a lot of them were new tables for everybody. And I did 3 games that day. I've also played 2 more games this past Monday, which I have a funny story about the demon table. I'll tell you in a second.
Oh, no.
So I played it.
Holding out on us? Played without us?
Yeah, man, I'll play without you.
But not on the mouth, right?
No, you know, on the dice. On the dice. So my first game on Saturday was against a brand new player. He only played 1 game of Warhammer ever before in his life, and this is his first game of 8th edition. He played Space Wolves, just taught him the rules and tried out kind of my new style of Sisters, which I had a really fun time doing. My second game was against a crazy Khorne Berserker army, just like 20 Khorne Berserkers in Rhinos, and then a bunch of possessed in Rhinos of the Lord, and a Forge Fiend that was just shooting the crap out of me. And I thought I was just totally done second turn when he charged me with all the Khorne Berserkers. But turned out the sisters managed to take the charge, and they counterpunched and really hurt the Khorne guy really bad.
Stole the charge from him.
Yeah, well, no, he got it. He got it first.
Oh.
Yeah, he got it on me.
And he attacked twice with all of his units of Khorne Berserkers.
Yep.
That's so gross.
Yeah.
One
Next
roll.
day,
It's-
attack twice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a fun, like, such a cool rule, though.
Because they're
Like,
activated twice.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, oh, I activate that unit, I go on the next unit, I activate that unit, I go back to the first unit, I activate that unit, I go back to the second unit, I activate that unit.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah.
Honestly, it's the way Khorne should play.
Yeah.
Like, where
Well,
they...
yeah, it makes them so much better.
Yeah, they should completely dominate the assault phase.
Made them feel bloodthirsty. They wanted to just keep
Absolutely.
going, right?
Yeah.
And they should just wreck Space Marine face in combat, really. I mean, they're like demonically enhanced Space Marines. Like,
Yeah.
They, with the fury of Khorne behind them, they should be able to just destroy anything in their path.
And I mean, Nick, you know this. The Death of the False Emperor rule is just crazy.
It really
Oh, yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was only getting on 6s.
Yeah. My army gets it on like so.
But he's
Yeah.
swinging with so many more attacks.
We talked about
Yeah.
this in the last podcast, but Chaos has a new rule called Death of the False Emperor. Kind of replaces Veterans of the Long War. So when you're attacking in the fight phase, if you roll any 6s, that generates an additional attack. And when you're rolling 40 dice,
It's a lot.
you're gonna get a bunch of 6s in there for sure.
And
Plus-
especially it really hurts when it's with power weapons, power fists.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
ugh.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the good and bad about that is now it's only against Imperium, but before it was only against Space Marines, and now it's all Imperium. Right? So that's
So-
your sisters as well.
Yes, it is. And then so my third game, and I guess we can all speak to this because you're all a part of it, was the big mega battle that we just threw together at the end of the day.
I was
Yeah.
so mad at you. So mad. I agreed when it was 4 players, and by the time we sat down to play it, it was 4 aside. I was like, Adam, what are you doing to me? Like, we have stuff to do. And you're like, you don't know, man. We can do it.
We're all having fun, whatever.
Whatever.
Totally see how
I'm like, well, why don't we just do, like, two games of 4? And you're like, no, it'll be great. You were right. You were right.
It felt like a full lower body workout.
bigger the better.
Yeah.
So this is how it worked, just to set it up. We all took a 1,500 point list. It was going to be 2,000 each until it grew too big.
I kept hearing you say, Paul's going to kill me.
Yeah, well, because people kept wanting to be a part of it, right?
Yeah.
More people were like, I want in, I want in, I want in. I kept having to say, like, Paul will literally murder me if I
would.
let you play.
So that was a lot of fun. I think that ended up being just pure Imperials. You had Space Marines, Sisters, more Space Marines, more Space Marines.
Yeah, it was Iron Hands, Imperial Fists, Custom Chapter, and Sisters.
Yeah, and a Knight.
Yes.
Yeah. Which I made short work of.
Yeah, man, you did a good job of it.
Versus Orcs, Chaos, and
Tyranids.
And we put the Nids on one flank, and we're like, you're not part of this.
Yeah.
You just assault that flank. We're not mixing the battle lines up.
Want to know what was nuts about that game? Pyovores were on the field.
Yeah, lots of them, right? Was
Right,
it
yeah.
9 Biovores?
Yeah. Biovores, yeah. Like, when was the last time you saw a Biovore?
Like,
No, it's true.
Yeah.
On Mini Wargaming.
Yeah.
But we know.
Also, the the Zonothropes.
Yeah.
So
Go to
cool.
Mortal Wounds, right?
Yeah, like they have a rule that they essentially juice smite. So it's an additional D3 if they roll over 10 for the power.
Depending on the number of models in the unit.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. It's D6 plus D3. So they were just like blowing stuff up.
Yeah, that'll make short work of any unit.
Yeah.
I said it last time. For me, MVP of that game was my Contemptor. Just killed the Swarm Lord. Just like pumped the assault cannon into him, and then did 9 mortal wounds to him.
Crush him with the claw.
Yeah, just like smash.
Oh, not mortal wounds, just like
Yeah.
Which is pretty.
And then Celestine flew up right over top of him, got herself into all sorts of trouble, and then he came in and rescued her.
Yeah, just punched a can and destroyed that. And then the Zonothropes blew him up, but he blew up and killed one of the Zonothropes.
Excellent.
And like, I don't remember the last time I've been playing games where like my vehicles would blow up and I'd be like, yes, that was awesome.
I have found myself using a command point in a couple games to re-roll the vehicle explodes roll.
To hope you get
To
it.
hope I get the 6.
You're a monster.
And it worked once. I think it worked against, was it you? Or maybe it was another game, Adam, but I was just like, rolled a 1 and I'm like, I want it to blow up. And I re-rolled it for a 6. It was against Phil. Like, my knight blew up, and I'm like, haha. Because when knight blows up, it's D6 mortal wounds.
Ugh,
Good God.
And he just blew up in the middle of Phil's Eldar army.
dirty.
It was awesome.
So then here, I'll cap my side of the conversation off with one last game, even though there's still more to talk about. But this last game, I was on the demon table. It was Sisters of Battle versus the Grey Knights.
Who was she? Was Becky with the good hair?
It was Mr. Val Heffelfinger.
So yeah.
Becky with the good hair.
And here's a funny little trick, is Gate of Infinity on the Demon World. And putting units, teleporting them wherever the heck you want.
What's Gate of Infinity?
It's a psychic power where you can literally...
Oh, is it Grey Knight?
Grey Knight psychic
Okay.
power, where you can teleport a unit wherever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also made it really difficult because we said only infantry can walk through the little portals. And he's got Land Raiders and a Storm Raven and all this stuff. And the way it works is it's just like Deep Strike. You take them off the table and you put them
Yeah, 9 inches away.
9 inches away, anywhere you want. And it doesn't scatter. It doesn't, no negative, no penalty.
Yeah.
And so I had a hard time chasing them down. But we played Maelstrom for the first time. Have you guys played Maelstrom yet?
No.
Yeah. It was really fun. They changed a lot of the cards and made them a lot better.
Okay,
and
good,
it was really good. So, thumbs up for Maelstrom from me. And those are my games.
I always liked Maelstrom the few times I actually played with it in 7th edition. I actually had a lot of fun doing it, especially with my orcs.
It did fix a lot of the... It didn't fix. It helped mitigate a lot of the imbalance within armies.
Well, I remember playing games with my orcs in 7th where I was almost tabled. And the game ended on turn 5, and literally, like, I win by 3 points, even though I've got 2 models left on the table. Yeah, it was awesome.
You just got to teach you how to do that in Alpha.
So, Jay, why don't you tell us about your game that you played last week?
Yeah, well, my most recent game was against Paul, actually, and by the time you're listening to this podcast, it will have been released on YouTube yesterday. So, yep. Speaking of his Contemptor, he was just talking about a second ago, it did really well in that game, actually. I charged him with my entire wall of boys, and my war boss just decided to pick out the Contemptor. He was just like, I want to kill a Contemptor. Charges right at him. I strike first because I'm charging. Did a little bit of damage, right?
Yep.
And then you just grabbed his face and went, squish.
Yep.
And literally in one hit.
Yeah, like
my war boss was just toast.
Yeah, and those Contemptors are so good, man.
Oh, man. Vehicles are so much better now.
Yeah,
it's
like
ridiculous.
Moving 9 inches, punching at initiative at strength 14, which is still a crazy thing to tell someone.
Yeah, it was the D6 damage, though, right?
No, straight 3.
It was straight 3.
Yeah, so he did 2 wounds.
That's what
got
it was.
through.
Yeah, you were like, I did 6 damage. How many wounds does he have?
Yeah.
He has 6 wounds.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Oh. Squish.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned maybe in the battle report, a lot of this game, I was just doing stuff where it's like, I want to see how this works.
Well, that's what it was. It was our first game.
Yeah.
Both of us. It was our very first game of 8th edition.
I want to see how a Land Raider does in combat.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, you did. Did you charge with the Land Raider?
Yeah, it didn't work. Bad idea.
Yeah, I think you did, actually.
We'll find out yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll have already told you this.
It was a great game, though. I really like the new edition. I like how it's working out, and my orcs are wicked good.
Yeah, man.
I realized just yesterday that the one rule I did forget to use in that game was actually the mob rule.
What was that?
It's just that the orcs, for either the unit they're in or every unit within either 3 or 6 inches, they get to use the number of models in the unit as their leadership value.
Oh,
So good.
So those incidences
amazing.
where you had negative 22 to my leadership test or whatever,
Yeah,
I was like, oh, well, they're just dead.
And the fun part is because stats don't cap as 10 anymore. If you have a squad of 30 boys, your leadership is now 30.
If I have 2 units of 30, my leadership is now 60.
No, because it's just use one.
You pick one.
You
Yeah.
pick one to use the
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So if
But still, having 30.
so if I'm down to 4 models in one unit and there's a full unit of 30 next to them,
But your leadership is now 30.
they get that 30. Yeah. Okay. Fair
That's
enough.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
In addition to that breaking heads or whatever, where we found out that I would have taken more than 3 casualties anyway. Just even if I had rolled a 1 on the dice, I would have still taken more than 3.
Yeah.
It just automatically takes D3.
Okay, yeah, like
My
that.
knowledge just punches 3 guys dead instead of taking 5 or 6.
Yeah,
or
you
whatever.
guys want to run, and they
Oh, you're running, are you?
Squish
No, you're
them
not.
I
Get my
said
head
it.
squished. Let's keep going.
I said it before. I love anything where it's like executions will continue until morale improves.
Yeah, that's how it works in the Dark Millennium.
Yep.
Questions: do commissars still have rules like that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do. I think it's if you're near a commissar, a unit can only lose 1 model from battle shock.
Okay, so it's the same thing. It's
Yeah.
just he caps 1 guy and they're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other funny one is commissars have it's for your own good rule back. So if you take Imperial Guard's Psyker and it fails if it perils is, because usually what happens with Psychers now, if you perils and the perils kills the Psyker, units within 6 inches take D3 mortal wounds.
Right.
Commissar stops that from happening. So the Psyker still dies, but the wounds don't spill over to adjacent units.
Yeah,
handy.
because the commissar is, like, sees what's up. He's like, I'm going to just take... Yeah. Just, ventilates this guy's cranium and all the warp just spills out. And he's like, I did good today.
I'm going to write in my journal about this.
Dear Emperor, guess what I did? You already know.
So I had some great games on Saturday. I played Connor's Iron Hands list. It's an old grudge match, 30k grudge match turned into 40k. We played on the demon table. It was a ton of fun. I ran my knight, and the thermal cannon is gross. I was able to kill his Land Raider first turn with a combination of the knight, havocs, and terminators with meltaguns, which was fun.
Honestly, if you're throwing that much at something, it should be dying.
Yeah, I just wanted to kill Land Raider first turn. That's all. I know. The knight was awesome. I don't think he brought it down. Predators are now really good because Predators now have a Predator autocannon. It's 2d3 shots, strength 7, AP -1, and they each do 3 damage.
Which is so good.
Just straight 3.
Straight
So
3
good.
is such a good thing for blowing up vehicles.
It adds up really quickly when you're putting out like 6 shots.
I really wish my exorcists were 2d3 to guarantee that I at least got 2 shots every turn.
Yeah.
Like that's it makes it so much more consistent.
Yeah, it definitely does. And then I played Phil's Eldar. His dice were so cold in that game. I don't know what happened. I played 2,000 points. He had a Wraith Knight. I had a Knight. I lost 4 models the entire game, and I think he had 2 Wave Serpents left at the end of the game.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, his army just fell apart. He fired the Wraith Knight, Wraith Guard with D weapon. Well, what are D weapons now? D scythes. No, the cannon, Wraith cannons.
Oh, okay.
And Fire Dragon into my knight, and only did 11 hull points, and I was just like, ha!
Oh, dude.
And knights now, so knights have the Reaper Chainsword, which is just gross. But if you get locked in with a squad of smaller Gribblies, you do 12 attacks, strength 8, -2 AP, D3 damage.
With the
Wow.
feet.
Yeah,
just stomp,
that's
stomp.
your new stomps.
That's your new stomp, and it just eats everything.
Yeah.
Also, that makes so much more sense than being able to stomp 9 inches out of combat.
Yeah,
or
template.
or stomp
Yeah.
a Primarch.
Yeah.
In the 30k game we played with Knights, where I think Phil's Knight just literally stepped on Ferrus Manus and rolled a 6. And oh, you're dead.
Crunch.
I was at full wounds. I'm a Primarch. I can flip a Titan over.
Yeah, there are literal scenes in the fluff where Angron gets stepped on by a warhound, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, what happened to Angron?" And then he busts out and he's like, "Angron!"
It's spin him on his finger like a Globetrotters or
Yeah.
whatever.
And he flips it.
Actually?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a really good scene because Angron's so angry he's stuck in the ground and he's digging down because he doesn't know which way's up. And, Morgar has to call his name so he
Hey,
can
this way, this way.
And then last night,
Marco.
Monday night, I played a game with my Death Watch against Phil's Slanesh Demons. One of my models, which we'll talk about in fun time, is extremely gross, but we'll get into that. Death Watch are fun. Again, super elite army, super customizable, and Phil used a couple new Forge World stuff as well. So he was using Chaos Hellblades, he used a Chaos Sikaran, and the Greater Daemon of Slaanesh. And the Sikaran was terrifying.
Yeah.
Because it's strength 8, it does straight up 3 damage, and it completely ignores the penalty to hit against flyers now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right? And it's an assault weapon. The Hercules pattern assault cannon is now an assault weapon.
Hercules Pattern Accelerator Assault Cannon.
That's the one.
Yeah.
So it moves 14, and he's like, oh, I moved, and I'm -1 to hit, and I'm looking at the weapon profile, I'm like, that's an assault weapon.
Yeah.
Your heavy bolters are -1 to hit.
Well, like,
This is hilarious.
Yeah.
that's an easy way to get, like, fast vehicle back into play.
Yeah, without giving them power of the machine spirit.
Right.
So
And-
it balances it out.
Yeah, I really like... I've always liked Sicarans.
Yeah.
They're in 40k and 30k, they're what I always thought Predators should be. And now in 40k, Predators are real good.
Yeah, it's still
So,
really good.
Yeah.
Sicaran's, it ain't cheap.
No,
It's
nor
not-
should
it's
it
not
be.
a cheap vehicle. Hellblades are fun. Yeah, it was a fun list to play. I want to definitely get a rematch in where I'm not taking the unit that did most of the work for me. But we'll talk about that later. Paul, what about you?
So, me and Jay had that game I talked about last episode, way back when. We were just kids. But I played in that Giant Apocalypse game that Adam was talking about, and I got to see Tyranids on the table, which I love. They're like some of the coolest models in the range, so I love seeing them on the table. When I started, I used to play Catachans, so in my head, Catachans versus Tyranids is like one of the classic matchups.
Yeah. Slime Arbo.
Yeah, right? So it was just like fun to see them back. The Swarm Lord is a beast. He got really close to our lines. I had to deal with it because it was on my side of the table. So it did take a squad of Terminators.
The sisters helped out, right? 2 multi-guns in there?
Yeah. 2 multi-guns from the sisters and a Contemptor shooting at it to bring it down to enough wounds that I can punch it to death. But then I punched it to death, which feels real good to like...
Hey, remember that time you shot that bird down with a heavy flamer?
Oh, yeah. And then so I was able, with the Contemptor and the Terminators, they were just like going up the left flank, just like kind of wrecking whatever they could get their hands on. And is the Hive Crone?
Harpy?
It's
Yeah,
the
I
one
think
that
it was a crone.
it's
Yeah.
the one that used to be able to drop stuff off its wings.
Is it a queen?
Drop little poops?
Yeah,
Yeah.
little tentacly poops.
Sure, Hive Crown.
Yeah,
don't
maybe not. Anyways,
Crone or queen? There's a queen in there too, isn't there?
it's something.
There's a
No.
Hive Crown or a Harpy.
So it's from that kit.
Right.
Anyways, it flew overhead. My Terminator with the heavy flamer just like split fired at it, did 6 wounds. It failed all the armor saves, and just died. It had 6 wounds left. And I was like, I just burned a giant flying thing. That was
weird.
awesome.
See, that doesn't make sense to me because I ran the same thing playing Phil. I had a flyer that has the hard to hit rule, and then you hit it with a flamer, and you're like,
This should not
How are
work.
you-
Before a
Should
flamer
not
and a
work.
flyer.
Yeah.
yeah, how are you? You're firing.
Why is
I'm going to fire this flamethrower straight up.
yeah.
Even then, it's gonna
It's
rain napalm back down
Exactly. It's not going to possibly end well.
Well, like, I just love the idea of this thing, like, swooping in low and a Terminator being like, nope, and just, like, setting it on fire so this giant flaming, I don't know, dinosaur bug is,
Yeah.
like,
pretty much.
just eating crap right into a building next to it. Just,
And I do love how big Tyranid monsters have the explodes rule too.
yep. That's,
Yeah.
Acid blood, bro.
yeah, it's like they, like, ran up to Guillermo del Toro and they're like, should they blow up? And he's like, of course they should. And why he was there, no one knows. But just...
He's a perpetual.
Yeah, he's been around forever. Then the other game that I played was against Space Wolves. Mike brought out a really fun list that had Bjorn, Murderfang, and then a Shield Dread. One of those dreads that has like the Storm Shield and the axe.
Yep.
I do find it hilarious that they made an axe for chubby little dreadnought fingers. Like, you could have just made an arm that was also an axe.
No, he's got a hand
Yeah.
that holds an axe.
Right,
Yeah.
it's just, yeah, it's,
So that if he drops it, he can just keep crunching.
yeah,
Or
like,
just pick the axe back up.
yeah.
Yo, that's hard. He's got
And-
those stubby fingers.
It's true.
And I did lose that game, but I managed to kill all 3 of those dreads.
So that's a moral victory.
Yeah, it felt good. Blowing up Bjorn feels really good because he's super old and it means a lot to people when he dies. But Murderfang is such a cool model in combat.
Is that the 2 lightning cloud guy?
The one with like the werewolf face, murder face,
And the ice claws.
yeah, or wolf ice.
Frostwolf.
Yeah, who knows?
Ice wolf.
Your Space Marine privilege is showing.
Yeah, I know. We should just mail like Thesaurus to Nottingham and be like, guys, try something else. Try like
Viking stuff.
yeah, there's so much cool Viking stuff.
This is a Berserker Dreadnought.
This is a Sagloper pattern something,
What?
right?
A Sagloper?
Sagloper.
I feel like you made that word up.
Sounds Norse.
Yeah, it's a Sigur Rós song.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
But for a second, I thought it was the name of Odin's horse. So yeah, those were my games.
Yeah, so the Dark Imperium launch day was at the new Sword and Board. We've been plugging it all the time on our podcast.
No, that's the one at Bloor and Brock, right?
And this is the one at Bloor and Brock. What's it behind?
Little pizza, I
Little pizza.
Beautiful.
So these guys were nice enough. They opened up at 9 o'clock for our club members, and we cleared them out of all of their rule books, a ton of their indexes, and half their stock of the Dark Imperium box set before the store even opened.
All their Maelstrom objective cards gone.
Yeah, so all that stuff
All
was
the objective markers
Yeah,
gone.
Yeah. So they were a big help setting up the terrain and opening up their store to our club. And we're going to touch a little bit more on that in our main topic. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Battle Brothers Studios, a commission painting service passionate about making your miniatures and your gaming table look great. Our philosophy at Battle Brothers is this: your army is our army. Every model will be something you can be proud to show off. Send us a message on facebook.com/Battle Brothers Studios for a free quote and make that dream project come to life. We also have something special planned for the release of 8th edition of 40K. Right now, get 20% off if you commission us to paint an 8th edition starter set, or get a 10% off Army Bundle bonus for painting up your new 8th edition 40K Army. Inquire with us on Facebook for full details.
Hogtown 40K, a club for all Warhammer gamers. $20 gets you early access to fun events, club swag, and the privilege of knowing us.
Yeah, it's a dubious privilege.
We play Saturdays at the Sword and Board, and keep an eye out for our Lethal Lottery doubles event on July 22nd. It's 1,250 points. You get randomly paired up with a new player each round, so come on out, meet new people, and have fun.
And we'll probably go to Duffy's after. Woo!
And we're back to our main topic. Today we're going to be talking about, so you want to start a wargaming club.
Do you wanna?
Kind
Do you
of.
really want it?
And we did.
Yeah.
So, Hogtown 40K, we're coming up on the end of our second year as a club.
It's pretty impressive.
It is really impressive.
I really expected us to like devolve into cannibalistic infighting by now, so this is nice.
It is nice. It's become bigger. We started off, I remember, it must have been the summer of 2015. It was a different time.
America hadn't gone crazy yet.
Well,
Not as crazy.
not as crazy.
They were walking down that road.
They've
It's
been
true.
bigger, yeah, they've
There
been
was
crazy
no
for
stopping
200
it.
years.
But Jay was there. It was actually at Jay's birthday party. Brian was there. Mike was there, sitting around drinking a few beers. And one of us said, "You know, what would be really cool if we were to start like a Warhammer club." And we did.
That's true.
And we got it going within a month. We organized our first event out of the old dueling grounds, what is now Sword and Board. We are charging you by the mention, Chris, if you're listening, and Nick. So, Sword and Board.
Sword and board.
Sword and board.
Sword and board.
So it's a great little area to play. Really kind of ties the West End gaming community together. They were running tournaments there as well, but they weren't doing them very often. So we stepped in, organized our first mini Astronomicon event, which was a huge hit, and have kind of just steamrolled from there. So during our main topic here, we're just going to be talking about what it takes to start a club, some of the pitfalls that we've encountered, and just tips for you out there. If you're listening, if you're part of Hogtown 40K, maybe you'll understand a little bit of what goes into making a club. And if you're not, you can start your own. Adam just wrote down a word on a piece of paper. It says
vision.
It says vision. I don't think he's referring to the Marvel superhero.
No, but he is pretty cool.
Yeah. So vision.
I like an android in a sweater vest. That's pretty cool.
So vision, and I think that's one of the things that's really tied Hogtown 40K together, is in our old Hogtown ads, you obviously heard us say that we're obnoxious about being bad at Warhammer 40K. The reason why that is because obviously Warhammer has a big spectrum of everything from casual gamers who play, a couple times a year to people like us who are sitting around this table who are like really into the hobby. Mm-hmm. Now, what that you can end up with in that is a atmosphere that's not really conducive to bringing new people in.
Yeah, you do run the risk, I feel like, of becoming cliquish, especially if like you have your regular opponents who are your buddies.
Right.
And I think, well, I really do hope that we have made an environment that welcomes people. If we haven't, let us know on the Facebook group or like just message me privately because I don't think I could take it publicly.
Yeah, that's Paul Fowler.
Paul S. Fowler.
Paul S. Fowler.
Paul Fowler is a real estate agent in St. John's, Newfoundland.
He's also on Instagram as Mr. Fist.
That's right.
And it's P. Fowler.
Yeah, there's a couple of
He's got a few of them.
Yeah.
So we've always tackled Warhammer with the vision of sportsmanship comes first. And that goes beyond playing games on the table. It's about supporting people in the community and really making sure that, you're friends with the people you're playing with.
And you remain friends.
And you remain friends, even after you play me.
Yeah.
Well, apparently I have a bad rap.
You do. But the thing is, like, a game runs, an hour and a half, 2 hours? You're spending that time with another human being. You want it to be quality time. Like, you don't...
Well, to be honest with you, some of the best games I've had playing with you guys and these guys should have probably lasted an hour and a half or 2 hours. But instead lasted 4 hours because we're joking around and having a good time and being buddies, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like our Apocalypse game, we did the 30K doubles game for Encounter Wargaming. We were here from my house from like 11 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock at night, right? Like,
yeah, and made a trip to the brewery in the middle.
Yeah. Came back, had some more fun. No, it was an absolute blast.
I agree. And so, I mean, vision, starting anything, vision is, you have to find those starting people. They have to have the same vision. Mm-hmm. And you'll find that if you don't start with the same vision, that things will go wrong later on.
Yeah.
And I think, and this is kudos to you, Nick, as the El Presidente, of just really rallying people around this vision that we've been talking about.
And it's just a vision of like all aspects of the hobby. I mean, one of the things that really irks me, and I'm guilty of this to a certain degree, as actually Jay's not. Jay's usually really good about this. So is Adam. So is Paul. I'm the only one at this table guilty of this. Is sometimes showing up with unpainted models and playing a game, and especially when we were getting towards the tail end of 7th, where it was all about just buying things and putting them on the table and having those powerful units. It's not the same if they're not painted.
Yeah.
They don't perform the same either, right?
I actually find the dice work out better if they're painted.
Yeah. But I remember
so superstitious.
Some of the events that I've gone to in the past, tournaments that, you are busting your balls to get stuff painted, to get stuff based, and you show up, and the guy who wins has a plastic tide.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, why did I waste all my time painting this stuff?
And that's like a real bummer, especially for people. I know that it, like, for Adam, it's probably like dollar signs in his eyes. But
I know someone who can paint your stuff.
Yeah, it's like, I know, friend. He's not that opportunistic, dear listeners. But yeah, like, it bums me out when, like, I'm putting, like, blood, sweat, and tears into these models, and someone, like, plops down a bunch of, like, gray models. I once played a guy in St. John's who plopped down mostly gray models, but then one unit of Fire Warriors were Star Wars minis. He was like, these are just Fire Warriors.
Were they stormtroopers at least?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
I was like, what the heck, dude? And like, it got in my head where it's like, it doesn't matter what these things are. They just represent numbers that go to a book. Oh my god, nothing matters at all. Money's just a representation of my time. Nothing matters. Like, it messed me up for like a week.
Yeah. To be fair, most of my clients are guys who are like, I do not have enough time to invest in painting to get good at it to a point where I'd be happy with myself like with what I can produce.
Yeah.
Because I have big important things I have to do, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of my clients are finance guys.
There you
They
go.
just have a lot of responsibility.
And that's fine. And you know what? If you can't tackle the the painting part, there's the sportsmanship aspect of it.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And in our tournaments, we've always made a point that things are equally weighted between gameplay, painting, and sportsmanship. It's like 33%, 33%, 33%. So if you look at the spread in any of our tournaments, like if you sort it by battle score, it does not match up to the final overall score.
It's true.
Right? Because we really want all aspects of the hobby to really be on display at any of our events. And I think that was really evident. We went to Astronomicon this year as a club. We were all wearing club shirts. I swear to God, we're not a cult. Not a cult.
But we could be a cult.
Yeah. We were chanting, "We're not a cult," while we were all wearing the same color shirts.
Because,
With our nicknames on them.
yeah, but like a cult wouldn't do that.
It's true.
That's true.
Nick,
I think
don't
they-
blow up our spot, dude.
They would. And we took home, like the club, obviously individual members, took home a lot of the soft score stuff. Phil won best sportsmanship. Paul won best single painted miniature. Like Mike won best army list. Like these are all like really cool soft score awards that I'm proud of our guys winning them.
Yeah, well, those are the things that give us pride as hobbyists. Each
Exactly.
one of us. And in fact, that attitude, I think, is why this club has been so successful.
Because we encourage that in people, right? Like Mike went out and built a friggin' computer
Yeah.
to put his army list on. Right?
Also coded the army list.
He coded
Like,
the army list.
wrote
He
the
wrote a
program.
computer program.
And he was
Wow,
playing,
really?
and he was playing Mechanicum.
And he was playing Mechanicum.
Crazy
His
guy.
display board was a clock.
I
He
mean-
built a clock that moved.
I
That's
mean,
awesome.
we do need to address the fact that if he were actually in the Mechanicum and built that army list like that, he'd be a heretic and they'd execute
Oh,
him.
for sure.
Like,
For sure.
It's way too advanced for processing power.
yep.
Yeah, we need a human brain in there somewhere to
Exactly.
just make
There's
things
no
work.
standard template construct here.
So
Yeah.
that sums up our vision. Just really hammering home all aspects of the hobby and really like encouraging players to write their own fluff for their models, to paint great models, and just bring fun lists.
Like,
And so, to be fair, not every gaming club has to share this vision.
No, absolutely not.
This is our vision.
This is what works for us. Yeah.
And so for you guys out there, if you're thinking about starting a gaming club, the guys that you play with and the people that are around you, if you want to start a gaming club with them, make sure you're all on the same page.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because
absolutely.
it's the community that sets the vision.
Yeah, like
That's what
if
it really does.
there are like a bunch this community does have like a bunch of people that are like really into ITC events and they love that kind of event, and when you hear them talk about it together, it's like they have such fun doing that.
Yeah.
That's all I want people to be doing is like we're
We
playing
just want to have fun.
yeah, we're playing a game. We're all like nerds, so like
Yeah.
you know, they're having fun, we're having fun, everything's good. We've got way more in common than we don't, you know?
Oh,
At,
for sure.
at the end of the day, yeah.
Yeah.
As much as we like to play it on the internet.
Yeah, well, I mean, played it on the internet.
Well, to reinforce that, speaking from my own personal experience, even before this club was created, I was living up in North York. Nick wasn't living too far from me, actually. And we were close to the Lawrence store there. And I kind of just stopped going there because a lot of the time I was playing the same three guys. Mm-hmm. And they were like super competitive, you know, unpainted model type guys. You know, gray tide of orcs. And I started going to dueling grounds because the community I found there, these three guys I'm sitting with right now, as well as many others which we've mentioned, were great guys, narrative players that really built beautiful armies and really cared about the appearance of it as well as the storyline behind it, instead of just like, oh, I've got this bunch of gray plastic that I put together and I'm going to kick your ass with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've actually had club members tell me before I started playing with you guys, I was super competitive, and when I started playing with you guys, I had to tone myself down, and I found myself having way more fun.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, because, like, you're sort of... I feel like our club tries to take the pressure off of gaming.
Yep.
Like, and like, some people love it, and that this isn't a value judgment. It's just that, like, I would much rather have 5 sergeants whose names and backstories I know the name of than, like, a bunch of gray plastic that, like, murders my opponent.
Yeah.
That being said, you can do both, and it's cool as hell when you do both.
Yeah. Or you could do neither.
Yeah.
See, I'm not a name every sergeant kind of guy. Like, I'm not a come up with my own fluff kind of guy. I just like to make my army look pretty and hang out and throw some dice and have fun, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Again, we've got more in common than we don't.
That's right. Yeah.
But you still create beautiful armies. You don't half-ass them.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not just putting models on the table to win games. You're putting models on the table because you like the look of them, because they're fun to paint.
That's why he got another Fire Raptor.
Right.
But, well, like, to Adam's credit, like, I'm a good painter, but to Adam's credit, his painting pushed mine. So I would see what Adam was turning out, and I'd be like, I can do that.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, to the point where, like, I spent an entire evening right before Astro, like, putting eyes on every dude without a helmet.
Eyeballs.
Yeah.
Give me the I-5.
The I-5.
Hey, so let's move on to other aspects of what makes a good club and kind of the nuts and bolts that you might need.
So we have always had kind of a core group of people. It has shifted over time. But I mean, even we have an executive committee. It's made up of 5 of us. 3 of us are sitting at the table right now. And then we have Phil and Tristan, who's on his way out due to some internal power play and a coup d'etat that happened. I'm kidding.
I'll see him dead.
Tristan is got accepted into a fantastic program in French Canada, the best Canada. There's no other Canada on the land.
Get out of here. They try to steal my homeland every chance they get.
So Tristan's going to remain in the club, but he's obviously can't shoulder the responsibility of a full-time program and doing that. So that's good. So Mike's going to come on board, and we're going to be doing elections as we do every year. But we have an executive committee, and they kind of drive the nitty-gritty of the club as far as finances, which we'll get to in a second, planning events, and generally just being kind of like, I wrote down here, stoke the fire.
Yeah. Why don't you say what their 6 positions titles are?
Well, what's your position, Adam?
Well, let me tell you. I'm the terrain guy.
Yeah. Is there a term for somebody who's the head of a cabal?
Not off the top of my head. I think it's cabal to cabal.
Okay.
I'm the cabal of the cabal.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the cabal of
I'm
the
the
cabal.
cabalite.
Yeah.
Cabalite.
The
yes.
lead cabalite.
He's the lead cabalite of our terrain cabal. So Adam, really pushed us to do better terrain. When Paul and I were building the Zone Mortalis table, we had a lot of the good stuff set down. We had hit a wall in terms of how good we could make it. And Adam showed up and he was just like, "We're doing this. I'm going to cut individual rivets out of plastic card," and I almost strangled Adam to death.
That was I'm so glad you came in and made us do that, but that was the stupidest way to do rivets I've ever heard. I want to say it to your face because I respect you.
Did you see what happened on Friday?
No.
I was digging through the club locker and I found a bag of the rivets and I just threw it out. But they did make the Zone Mortalis table.
It's a nice looking table.
Amazing.
I didn't say I was the smartest guy.
Well, I mean, you
Well, if
got...
I was there, I could have told you just take a stick and cut it into sections.
That's what he did.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what he did?
He did it with plastic card.
I thought you were talking about cutting out of a plastic card.
No,
Circles
he was
out of plastic.
he
You're out of your
he
freaking
had
mind.
one of those paper
I
cutters.
took my mom's paper cutter and I took a rod of circular plastic card and just went chomp, 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 chomp.
What's wrong with
These guys
Because we
There
could
were
have
600 of them.
just got 2 pounds of finishing nails. It's push, push, push.
Yeah.
That's what we did for the buildings on the sand table.
for sure.
We've grown.
We've
and
learned.
We've learned.
Yep. So Adam really drives the terrain aspect of it. He also really drives a lot of the painting and hobby stuff as well.
Yep.
As does Paul, because Paul is the...
Hobby Outreach.
We need a better name for that.
Is it Hobby Outreach? I thought you were new.
It was
Hobby
originally
Outreach and new members.
right. It was originally Master of the Recruits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For new members. Yeah.
We got away from those
way cooler.
funny names.
Oh, come on.
Well, okay, we'll get back to the funny names.
Okay.
He should be the Master of the Recruits.
Yeah, so
You're the War Master.
with the new store being really cemented now.
What sword?
Sword and board. Block and board?
Sword and board?
God, we are getting so rich off of these guys. But yeah, with the new store being cemented, I'm really looking forward to with Adam's help, running a few seminars, like really quick and dirty, like how to paint your basics, and then something a little bit more advanced, like how to do weathering. Like you've got your basics down, how to take it to a level that's pleasing to the eye.
I think you should definitely do bases because your bases are so simple and they look so good.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like
That'd be an easy day.
Because I do know there's a bunch of people out there who are like fantastic painters, and then their bases are just black because they're like, I don't know how to do bases because it's not. It's like
it's a different skill set.
it's a different skill set. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. You don't have to use white glue when you paint your model, right? That's like
I guess that's
You
true.
got everywhere.
Yeah. I feel like not everyone's going to be doing stuff like pin your stuff to your bases, dudes.
Yeah.
Like it makes them really
Fair
durable.
enough.
You do that?
Depends on the model.
Yeah, that makes metal models. You have to pin them to the band.
Yeah,
Sense,
yeah. Or like if they're old metal models and they still have the slot, I'll like cut off an arrow point.
Yeah.
And kind of use that.
There you
Anyway,
go.
Yeah. But it's just like that kind of like you have somebody who can do that. And if we have a group chat going on, any Hogtown member is free to join. I don't know how to advertise it on the group. It's kind of like I think it's part of the group on Facebook. I don't know how Facebook works.
we can share. We can share the room. We'll talk
Okay.
about it later.
Yeah.
You guys don't need to see how the sausage is made.
But essentially, like people ask questions all the time,
Yeah.
right? Like Connor at 2:00 in the morning before the event was like, "I sprayed mat spray on my stuff and it got all cloudy and covered things in
What
snow."
do I do?
Yeah,
What do I
like,
do, right?
And like 5 people were like, "Here's how to fix that."
Yeah.
Like,
immediately at 2:00 in the morning, people were messaging them back.
yeah, like I'm
because
looking
I know I'm up at that point.
Yeah,
All I
exactly.
said was, "Dang, that sucks."
and I was like, you got to hit it with rubbing alcohol and then gloss varnish and then matte varnish again.
Yeah.
The rubbing alcohol just makes sure that everything's clean and
Yeah.
you don't like it. It's once that dries, it's like a good bond between varnishes. It's in case like you've been handling it a bunch.
And I lent, Connor fixed it. I lent him acrylic spray and he sprayed that heavy on and it fixed the cloudiness. But it's just like kind of that shared knowledge and having somebody driving that and always being willing to help is huge. So anybody out there, if you ever have any painting questions, talk to Adam or Paul. If you ever have any hobby questions, talk to Paul, maybe Adam. Let's see how Adam feels about that. He might charge you money.
Just don't ask me about rivets.
Yeah. Get a second opinion on all your questions.
So that's 2 people so far. We have a terrain person and a hobby and new members focused person
Yeah.
for the executive committee. Who else?
So we have Tristan. Tristan runs the finances. That he's going to be handing that over to Phil. We do actually manage, quite a bit of money. Upwards of $1,000, $2,000 should be coming in membership fees this year. That's all returned back into the club. We're ending this year with like not a lot of money left in the bank because we spent it on new terrain and
Nobody's making money off this.
Nobody, not yet.
Not
So
yet.
I gotta make sure Phil reviews the books before Tristan makes off across the border.
Yeah.
Embezzles funds and takes off.
Yeah.
Once it takes off.
To French Canada.
Yeah,
He's warming us up with the fact that we have no money left, right? That's what he's saying right
You
now.
have
Exactly.
no money.
exactly.
Yeah, wait.
Yes.
guys are
Just
so
ignore this
broke.
withdrawal.
Hey, we managed to take one out on Tristan.
A couple of times this podcast.
And Phil was the events guy. So Phil was like a very, very behind the scenes. He's very, very detail oriented. He thinks of all the possible angles, probably because he's a lawyer. But every time we run an event, he's always like, do we think of this? Do we think of that? We got to get this done. Master of the Excel spreadsheet. Gets it all done.
I mean, you gotta always have someone who's gonna say, where are the bathrooms? Where are the food? Where to puke? You know?
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's
like
stuff I would never think of.
Did you read about Jay-Z's crazy concert on the
We're in Canada. It's JZ.
JZ on that island in the Caribbean where they didn't have somebody like that?
It wasn't Jay-Z, though. It
was Ja Rule.
Ja Rule, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I got my J's mixed up.
Can you please apologize to JZ right now?
I'm sorry, JZ. I know you just had beautiful twins, and I'm sorry. But
Don't sue us for
Neither one of them are
defamation. Yeah.
They might be.
you never know.
They're just stranded.
Vin Diesel's probably listening to us.
Yeah, fair enough.
That would be the best.
So they just stranded a bunch of 20-year-old rich kids on an island.
Yeah,
with
because they
nothing.
had they paid $10,000 to go to an event, and there was nobody being like, "Do we actually have mansions on this island now? We advertise?
Yeah.
No, we just have tents."
refugee tents.
Yeah, no, it was awful. So having somebody who's always able to kind of just big picture it, look at the details, it's important.
Yeah.
And then Mike has recently come on board And hopefully the next election everyone keeps their spots, unless there's some sort of crazy electoral college decision that upsets the balance of power. And then I'm the War Master / President, whichever one you want to call me. That's fine. And I just kind of drive different things and kick people in the ass when they need to get moving, and just
Which needs to happen.
needs to happen from time to time.
Delegator.
Delegator,
And a secretary, which is currently no one's sitting in that right now.
No one's sitting in that role right
Emmett
now.
was doing that. He's moving out of the city, so it didn't make sense to.
I didn't know he was leaving.
Yeah. So that's why.
Why
miss
is
you,
why is
Emmett.
that important? What do we need a secretary for?
Because we like beer. And when we meet as the executive committee, a couple beers are consumed, and conversation can go everywhere. It's fun. We love it. The meetings are lots of fun. But a secretary is there to just make sure that all of our thoughts are consolidated on paper so we can refer to them later, because it does require long-term planning. One of the things that has kind of really thrown a wrench into the works of the club this year was 8th edition coming out. We weren't able to plan past the release date because nobody knew how many points there were. Nobody knew how the game would change. So like
8th happening concurrently as Dueling Grounds was moving was probably the best way it could have happened, actually.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
There's too much synergy there, yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. Opening the new store up while the new edition was dropping, getting all the terrain built for the new edition, kind of building off that excitement, and going forward. Like you heard in the ad earlier in the program, by popular demand, our favorite tournament as a club is the Lethal Lottery Doubles Tournament. And this goes on to the next point I have written down here as events. You gotta run these events. You gotta run the events that people are going to sign up for. And believe it or not, it's our fun little quirky events that draw more people than our standard tournaments.
yeah.
Our Kill Team one that we did earlier this year was a blast.
Like, we got...
That one brought in quite a few new people.
It definitely brought in quite a few new people.
Yeah, and active people. Like, Dustin is, super into it.
Yeah.
I mean,
We should have a nickname for him. Can we call him Mr. Inferno?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dustin, if you're listening, you gotta check your power level abuse, son. That's crazy.
Yeah, that sort of thing. And then the Lethal Lottery, we started it. I can't remember who it was. It was Doug. Doug, we were just talking about events. He's like, "You should do a Lethal Lottery like they do in wrestling." And I'm like, "What's that?" He's like, "Oh, it's where wrestlers get randomly paired up with their doubles partner and fight other randomly paired doubles." I'm like, "That is the coolest thing I've ever heard." So what we did was we did this event where people sign up. There's 20 people. The first round is completely randomized pairings. And then what we do is the next round, the number 1 slotted person is paired with the number
20.
last slotted person versus the second place person and the second last person. And they play a game, and then it goes on and on. So you end up, maybe one game you're on one person's team, the next game they're against you.
The funniest thing that happens with that is look at your opponent. Are they better than you? If so, you're the weak link.
Your ally.
Yeah.
Your ally, yeah. Oh, did you win your last game? Yeah. Oh, I didn't.
But it is a lot of fun. That event disabuses you of your gaming ego really quickly.
Oh, yeah.
If you're a great player, you're carrying someone. If you're a bad player, you're dragging someone good down. It's just...
It is really fun. There were some hilarious matchups at the last one.
Yep.
I'll remember. I think I'll remember this game for a while where we paired up, you and me, Paul.
Yeah.
And
Who was the top player there?
I don't. I think we were pretty much middle of the pack.
Yeah. We were
it was the final game of the day.
Because I won one, then I was paired with Chaz in the silliest game I had ever played. We lost that game so badly that it became fascinating to watch. I was like, you guys seen The Fly, and where Goldblum was just super amazed with what the horrible things his body is doing. That's the way I felt I was losing this game.
Okay. Anyway, so at our game we paired up. We had to fight 6 robots.
Yeah. It was
a
Iron Hands and Mechanicum.
Yeah, and with a Death Star of Castellan robots. And I was just like, Paul, how about you go just keep tying them up?
Yeah, we
throw bodies at it.
Yeah, it became such a Again, another cinematic game where the sisters had a mission and the Imperial Fist was like, "Milady," and took their fedora and just went into a battle.
That one's fun because we're going to have, I hope we have a lot of new players coming into the club. We're going to try something new. We're going to do the first round. Players can either designate themselves as vets or noobs, and we're going to do our very, very best to make sure that a veteran player is paired up with a newer player for the first round of the game.
Nice.
Just to give them a little bit of aid, a little bit of mentorship for the first game, and then it's
So I should put noob on my thing then.
yeah, if you want to.
Yeah, it's
Gotta be gamey.
If you want to be gamey.
it's the Big Battle Brothers program.
There you go.
So once you've won your first game, it's you're kicked out of the nest and you got to fly, and hopefully you don't get stomped on by big robots.
That's right.
You might.
So here's a question just surrounding events. Do you think after 2 years of doing this that we've found kind of a regular, healthy rhythm of events throughout the calendar year?
Definitely, yeah.
That's good. And
Yeah.
what does that look like?
It's usually one
Every quarter?
I'd like to ideally run one every 2 months.
When we say one, what are we talking about? A tournament?
Tournament, a paint build day, a big terrain push, just something like that once every 2 months.
Yeah, in that case, it's more frequent.
Yeah. Just fun stuff like that. Or a campaign. This summer we're also going to be doing an ongoing league as well to try and get new people involved in the game as well.
Yeah.
This is kind of how I've seen, just from watching and observing, kind of the rhythm that I've noticed is we do a tournament about once a quarter with a league every other tournament to fill the gap in between.
Yeah.
And then a little bit of
like
breathing
a winter
room.
and a summer thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it creates enough space for people to rest, but then also gives enough for people to work towards and be actively participating.
Exactly.
Yeah. And this is a hobby. I don't ever want someone to feel like their hobby work is a chore. You know, you don't want anyone to feel under the gun with either building, painting, or playing. Like it's not. This is what we do to unwind. Like
Right.
Yep.
Right.
It's got to be fun.
yeah,
I've never had somebody like said I didn't have fun at a tournament. And we do send out surveys to all of our members, and yeah, I mean, like the Lethal Lottery. One of the questions was like, "What was your favorite event we ran?" It was like 95% was like the Lethal Lottery.
I've always had the most fun at the Lethal Lottery event.
Yeah.
I mean the ITC event that we did get a lot of like good feedback from non club members, and it was really cool to see that crowd come out. And I do want more of those people, like that kind of mindset. Not to say like those people, because it's not like you.
What do you mean by you people?
Oh God!
Exactly.
Yeah,
And even our other ones as well.
yeah. Like I just, I really like that one because it got us out of our comfort zones.
Yep. Oh, for sure. A more competitive tournament, because you can still do a competitive tournament while still breaking up the scores between sportsmanship,
Right.
gameplay, and painting. Right.
And like it should be said that our tournaments, it's not like you just come and we all talk about our feelings. Like we are all playing to win. Like
Yeah.
That's true.
Nobody's trying to lose.
Mike gets angry sometimes.
Yeah.
I've seen him get angry.
But we're not trying to win at the expense of somebody else having fun.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
And the other big event that is another huge hit with our club is, the club honestly started out of Astronomicon. We had, I think, like 4 or 5 current club members go to Astronomicon in 2015, really enjoy the event, and then really want to kind of build a community around that sort of thing. So for those of you who don't know, talked about this in the first couple episodes. Astro is an event where it really, I think they have a lot of the same ideals that we do as a club, and their missions are just hilariously fun. They're not straight out of the book missions. They're highly creative, highly fluff centric. Like we gave the example of you're chasing a bunch of cultists around the board who are shooting back at you. Your opponent is also trying to chase those said cultists around the board.
I'm really sad that this year I didn't get the trick that I did in our tournament, where it was like, I've got 2 of the cultists, I'll kill the rest. I'll just shoot them off the table.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. So Adam's writing things down on paper again with no context. He wrote down communication.
Yeah, so it's just something that I noticed that it's come up twice now that we didn't have a bullet point for. 1, you mentioned the survey. And 2, we've mentioned our kind of centralized communication, like just through our Facebook page and having certain groups for certain things.
Yeah.
And that just, in one simple word, is we have good communication and good lines of communication about certain things and topics. And
when somebody posts a question in the Facebook group, there's a bunch of people jumping on it trying to answer or to help. And we just value input and effort from any club member. And that goes to anybody listening. If you have an event that you want to run and you need help getting it off the ground, come to us and we'll help you do it.
Yeah, it's not like we're taking a cut of the profits.
No.
No, there is no profits.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In fact, I've been losing a lot of money in this club.
To go along with that too, it is a lot about effort too. I know when we were building the terrain, Adam said something that was very, very poignant. It was just like,
Tristan.
we have enough ideas. We need people to come out and do work.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Keep going up with ideas and never build anything. We're never going to get anywhere.
and
This is a horse built by a committee as a camel.
But that's the thing with all volunteer organizations, and it is unfortunate. But the basic truth is that the people who show up and do the work, they get the bigger say in how the work's done.
Yeah, and that being said, like, we do have a lot of club members who are like super busy.
Yeah,
like,
they can't spend the time doing it. Yeah,
we've got fathers, we've got like boyfriends and girlfriends, we've just people doing stuff. Like,
Not excuses. I'm a daddy and I'm a husband.
Yeah, but what I'm saying,
I'm messing.
I know you messed.
your job is literally to paint Warhammer, Adam.
Yeah, this is all portfolio work for you. But like. That being said, like, yeah, putting the effort in is really important. But if you can't, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Because if you're part of the club, you kicked in your fees.
Yeah.
Like, you kicked in your $20.
Right.
Yeah.
Which
Now-
paid for the train we're all working on.
Exactly. So, like,
And my salary. I mean, there's no salary.
yeah, his throne.
His throne. I have to ask the executive committee for pizza money to buy pizza for the club.
Now, Nick, are there other things that your fees get you?
Yeah, so we have, since the beginning, always functioned on the idea that the fee should be returned directly into the community, whether that's, entry fees. We charge $20 a year, and that basically means that you get early access to events. So usually we give about 2 weeks run-up. Club members get half off events. So if you're going to come to 2 events during the year,
You've already paid for it.
you've already paid your membership. If you come to 3, you're making money. No, that's not how that works.
No. But also, like, you're playing on terrain that, like, a bunch of people built. Like, that's what pays for these sorts of things.
Yeah.
It would be really expensive otherwise.
Yeah, and every club member this year got a nice little Christmas present as well. That was
true.
paid for by the club fees. They got dollar store candy and Hogtown dice, which had the Hogtown logo on the 6s, not the 1s, because those dice are insane. Games Workshop. Because I had the Death Watch dice over there. They're some of my favorite dice.
But they're on the ones?
Yeah, and they're like the chapter
that
symbol.
irks me.
They're the
Yeah.
chapter symbol. So you're like,
You
no.
You don't want to see your chapter symbol.
Ultramarines, no. Imperial Fist, no.
You should want to see your chapter
You
symbol.
want to see
Yeah,
your chapter
yeah.
symbol, exactly. And it gets confusing. Actually, speaking of random dice, random tangent, something weird happened today at Mini Wargaming.
What's that?
So they had to take down a video off of their vault because there was a player who brought in dice where the symbol was on the 1s, and halfway through the game, they were like, wait a minute. We were treating like the symbols were 6s.
So the dude was getting twice as many 6s?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Oh, who is this guy? That poor dude.
So they did it by accident.
Yeah, I know. Like, that poor
Because
guy.
they just, the person filming just takes the lead on narrating and talking, and
Yeah, exactly.
if the guy rolls the dice and they're like, oh, look at, there's 10 6s there, but half of them are 1s. I mean, the dude's just saying that.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so it was just a funny thing about dice. Just Games Workshop, please
Pick
put
Pick
the
6.
special symbols on the 6.
all this is very important towards running a club and,
It
starting
is.
your own club.
Yeah, we get tangents all the time. You know
Maybe
that.
maybe this is another bullet point we're putting on here. The details matter.
The details
Yeah.
do matter.
So what we're talking about?
Yeah, fees,
Right.
club fees.
Yeah. Right.
And,
Dice.
as the club gets bigger, there's more stuff we can use fees for. The idea was floated around of renting out a Legion one day and, getting some beer from the bar and playing some more Hammered.
Yeah.
Or hammered. Beer hammered.
Beer hammer, yeah. You chug a beer, it's now terrain.
Drop pod.
Yep. And like, I think the idea of the fee structure is because we are independent. Like, we have no affiliation. Like, we do love Sword and Board, but we exist like autonomously to that.
Of course.
Now, I know you guys ran GW.
Yeah, I wore a red shirt.
Stores, not
Store.
stores.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wore a red shirt and a black shirt.
You say you were a black shirt. I was a red shirt.
Yeah.
I was the one dying first in that episode. Which actually worked out that way.
We need the captain, the chief medical officer, and Ensign Jason.
random guy who can die for us. Yeah.
Ah, crap.
Yeah, and so we have here on our list just to contrast kind of corporately run communities and kind of more organic grassroots player run communities. And so we'll just talk about our experience working for Games Workshop and the kind of the difference in what the community looks like and feels like. So my experience with Games Workshop is the community side of it. It doesn't look that much different from the outside, right? We're still doing events. We're doing tournaments once a quarter.
From the outside.
Yeah, we're still doing leagues. We're still doing, it's all very similar. But what can end up happening is, and what is a big benefit of this kind of grassroots player-run community is that the level of ownership is very, very different. As opposed to coming to this place where you're just expected to have terrain and you're expected to have a table available. There's kind of these expectations that just get thrown out. People are actually more involved in creating that for themselves, which is really cool.
That's the thing that I think makes the major difference between a store supporting the community and a community supporting itself. It's just simply the care and love that goes into making this thing happen. You know what I mean? Like, the store, of course, probably has a bigger budget. They have employees, which obviously they've hired people who have good hobby skills, or else they wouldn't be able to set an example for the community.
Yeah.
Like Games Workshop, especially when we were working for the company, really tried to set the bar for other stores, for the independent stores, to sort of live up to.
Yeah, and so this is a good pro, right? This is like pro Games Workshop corporate run community style thing, right?
But then you get into a situation with Hogtown 40K, where the only reason we're doing it is because we love the hobby, because we want other people to love the hobby, and we want to help everybody have fun doing that. So the motivation of the store is to provide a nice place for people to come and game and try and build a community around it so they can sell product.
Yeah.
Whereas with our community, we're not trying to sell anybody anything.
But it's incidental.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Sword and Board, I'm sure, will make lots of money off us.
Exactly.
And like, it's...
But we're not saying, like, go upstairs and buy this.
No.
Yeah.
Whereas plenty of times when I was at Games Workshop, we had a game, and it's like, you need one of these in your army.
Yeah.
Buy
And
this $45 box.
You need a $45 box set.
Whatever.
Yeah, which box is
$65
that?
box.
What box is that?
Not anymore. Back
How do you
then,
like that time machine, Jay?
This was 10 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, and like, you know, to their credit, like, the guys at Sword and Board are really active in the community, and I know that, like, I'm going to be way happier spending my hobby dollar there than
Precisely.
at stores that aren't as welcoming to gaming spaces that don't need to be mentioned.
Yeah. So actually, this can be another compare and contrast. There is a store in Toronto that just lost their gaming space, and it actually is kind of a random unfortunate set of circumstances.
Which we won't go into, but
Yeah. And the culture that was cultivated there, I don't know firsthand, but it just appeared that it was less friendly than what we experienced at this store, the Sword and Board, because the staff are invested in cultivating a community. Like, they gave us money to make terrain.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
unheard of at
I've
any other
said
store.
that to those two guys. I'm like, you're taking the perfect approach to this. This will lead you to success, because us coming in here and you being involved in our community makes us feel like we belong here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're at
Like,
home
are we
here.
gonna break our own stuff that we made and spend time on?
No.
Well, that too.
Right.
Yeah,
Are we gonna-
precisely.
and we're there, you know, oh, I need some paint. I need some paintbrushes.
Yeah.
You know, I'm there. I'm not going to make the trip downtown or anywhere else in the city. I'm here. I need super glue. I broke my model. I need a tape measure. Oh, you got the new books? That's great. All that sort of stuff is huge. And I think our club realizes it as well, is that, like, you do need to support your store. They're giving us gaming space to be at. and the club base really recognizes that. And even with the old store that was there was a lot of support for that store simply because that was our home as a club. Whether that was,
But I wanted to support Dueling Grounds because you guys were there.
Yep.
And because I was having fun playing there as opposed to going to Games Workshop.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Now I want to support Sword and Board because I see these two guys who actually want to be part of our community, not just let us use their store so they will sell stuff.
And they are. The staff is a huge part. Their staff, beyond the owners,
Yeah.
are a huge part of our community.
Well, yeah,
as well,
the guys who
right?
have already been there forever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm proud to call Raphael a friend,
absolutely.
Heck yeah.
even though he is a young weirdo.
Get good, Nick.
Yeah.
Get good.
Get good, everybody.
So yeah, like we've been saying, if you guys ever have any questions, listeners, just holler at us on Facebook, message us privately, find the group chat, hobby questions about building an army list, questions about running an event, you wanting to get involved in the club. Yeah, you're always going to find a space here.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do.
Here's one last question about starting a club, because it's going to happen. What do you do when problems arise? Let's say it's relational.
problems?
Let's say it's relational problems, and then maybe we can talk about other stuff later. But when relational problems come up,
Well,
We're lucky that hasn't really happened. There's been a couple clashes of personality, but not like relational problems. Again, it goes back a lot to. I wrote down here responsibility, and it's tough. Like, it's a volunteer organization, right? If you have somebody who's like, "I'm going to do this," and then they don't do that, you can't fire them.
no, but
Sure.
like,
And you can't call them out in front of everybody and be like, "What are you doing?"
yeah, no, like I've taken aside people and been like, listen, we all like terrible jokes here, but like there's some terms that we're not going to be using in the club just because we don't know everyone, we don't know their lives, and I don't want anyone to come in here and feel crappy about themselves.
Yeah, and to be fair, the only time I've ever had to delete a post off the Facebook group was one of yours, Jay.
Thanks.
It was not his fault.
It was not my post originally.
It was not his post originally. Somebody just went berserk on Facebook and just started going after Jay.
I don't know what I said.
He didn't say anything.
He was like, "You must be an 11-year-old with the IQ of."
It's
like,
the internet.
You know, like,
This is
yeah,
what
I was
happens
like,
on the internet.
I assume by your grammar that you are 11 years old. And like,
So that
really,
was- yeah.
really, asshole.
So we have the executive committee does things by majority vote. The elections at the beginning of the year are done by majority vote. That sort of democratic system definitely needs to be in place just to be accountable to the club membership and to each other as well. But I mean, that's just relational problems happen.
Yeah, but I think if you treat everyone with like respect and a degree of honesty, like you can usually make any of these interpersonal problems go away pretty
It's
quickly.
pretty easy to fizzle them out. Yeah.
Yeah, like just be like, hey, my
You're
dude.
ruining everybody's time.
Yeah, like
Just chill.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I feel like we've done a good job of like cutting those off before they happen.
Yep.
Which is like a really good way because I hope that everyone thinks that we're pretty transparent. Like, if you have a problem with the way we're running stuff, come to our houses.
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much the whole club's been at my house at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then there hasn't been. I remember at the beginning of this year, we started thinking about these sorts of things, and that's why we have like the code of conduct and the mission statement. And honestly, it hasn't come up.
Yeah.
There's been absolutely no issues. I have never seen a post where I'm like, yeah, it's going to cause a problem.
Yeah. I mean, like, we do have the atomic option of just being like, here's your $20 back. There's the door.
Yep.
Like, that is the worst that we could ever do to someone.
Excommunication.
Yeah, but it's also like, I would never want to do that to someone.
absolutely
Like,
not.
Yeah.
man, we've all had bad days and said, like, crazy stuff to each other.
Yep.
Like,
And the internet brings out the worst in people. But we do see each other on a regular basis.
Yeah,
So you are saying something to somebody who's part of your community.
The internet simply facilitates the community.
Yep.
The community exists separate of the internet. And like Paul just said, when you treat others with respect, they tend to do the same in return.
Exactly.
So if you walk into a room full of guys who are all having a good time and you're going to try and ruin everybody's time, you're going to be ejected from that room pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And even when it comes to lists and power, and we talked a little bit of the different philosophies behind the game, it is interesting to see we did run the Classic Hammer event
Right.
a while ago.
That was a good time, too.
It was a good time. And one person sent in a list, and Mike, who was running the tournament at the time, totally on his own, and Mike was totally allowed to do this. He was the TO, and he was given the responsibility to run this event, was like, hey, man, like, list is, like, ridiculously good. You've got, like, a bunch of, like, really powerful units in there. Not really what the theme of the tournament's going for. Not asking you to change your list, but just letting you know if you show up with this list, like, you might not get the reception that you're hoping for. And the guy instantly emailed back and said, hey, I'm really sorry. That's not what I thought this tournament was. Here's my new list. It was a fun, fluffy list. And he won Best General.
There you go.
There you go.
Still won anyway.
He changed his attitude when confronted politely.
Well, it's like that's just us, like, as a club being like, hey, just so you know, this is what this event is about. That's just clear communication. Like, no one got reprimanded. No one was, like, castigated.
No, he didn't do it. No one did anything wrong in that situation.
And he didn't have to change his list if he really didn't want to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nobody forced him.
I think that was part of maybe he'd never heard the vision of the club before.
Yep.
And you have to communicate your vision somehow. And that was just the opportunity to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, cool. Is that the end of it? Or what?
That's the end of it. We're coming up on the end of the second year at the end of August. We'd love to. We've already hit the 50-person mark.
Yay!
I think Nick was
50.
and Chris was 51. And we've got a couple more since then.
Nice.
The Dark Imperium one.
Yeah.
So moving forward, I'd love to see all 50 of those people back. Adam, you need to get on Jack and get him to pay his membership, because we'd love to have Jack back in the club.
What's a jack?
Is that guy even still alive?
Yes.
We
Yeah.
miss you.
And, like, if you're listening to this podcast and you're not a member, check us out on Facebook, Hogtown 40K. Join if you like, or just come out and, like, hang out. Like,
Yeah.
no pressure. We'll still be friends if you don't give us $20.
We don't bite unless you ask us to.
Yeah, exactly. But then you have to give me the $20.
Right.
So there are, like, premium perks.
Yeah. So that's it about starting and running a club. Anyone have any final comments? No?
No, why are you looking at me?
I don't know, because
you know what-
you usually have something snarky to say.
I do.
Do you know what time it is? Do you know what time it
Do
is?
you know where your children are?
Oh, you're looking at your phone? No, that's not
No.
how we answer
It's
this question.
fun time.
It's not really fun time.
It's
So the new Forge World books have come out, and Point and Click Nick, has broken the game. Usually, I've said this constantly, that Forge World usually is a little bit more balanced than regular 40k units because blah, 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 blah. And then...
You said that?
Yeah, a couple people have said that. I
Sounds
say...
pretty ridiculous to me.
You agree with them?
Yes, Forge World usually, outside of a few exceptions, usually releases units and models that are well costed for what they do.
Oh, costed.
Costed.
Yeah.
So they might be like
They are still super
a little bit more powerful.
Yeah.
usually
but-
works out to $1 a point. If you've ever done the math,
I
it
never
is
thought of that,
literally
yeah.
$1 a point.
But think about it. I mean, like, back towards the tail end of 7th, like, would you rather see an invisible 2-up rerollable Jinx save or my Fire Raptor on the table?
Yeah,
I suppose that's true.
Right? Like, there was
In
more...
previous editions, though, Forge World has always been the OP units.
It was considered OP because it was unfamiliar.
Also, like some
Some of the rules were pretty stupid.
yeah, like the Tesseract arc for my Necrons is like pretty mean.
Yeah.
If you don't know what it does.
So Forge World has completely re-released the rules for 40k. Last night, Phil and I decided to have a small little game. We decided to do 2,000 points. He wanted to run a couple Forge World units. I wanted to run my big super heavy battle tank. So Phil was running
What one is that?
the Falchion.
Thank you.
And Falchion's like one of those weird curved swords that the Prince of Persia uses, I think.
I think they're artillery swords. Or not artillery, cavalry swords.
Yeah, like the curved ones.
Yeah, so they're really heavy on the top. And you just chop people's arms and faces
We're
off.
making
Keep
chopping.
riding by, right?
We're making chopping
That's why it's
sessions
curved
too.
out.
So it is a super heavy Space Marine battle tank. It's based off of the Baneblade chassis and the Fellblade chassis, and it's got a twin-linked volcano cannon. And it's called a volcano cannon because everything it hits turns into a pool of magma. And it was powerful.
Liquid hot
Yeah.
magma.
It didn't. This is the first time it's had rules in 40k. Didn't have 40k.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it didn't have Forge World rules last edition. It was a 30k unit.
Right, there was a Baneblade with one volcano cannon.
The Shadow Sword.
Shadow Sword.
Yeah. So I've used the Falchion in 30k games. It does really, really well. It's really expensive, but it's powerful. It's meant to kill Titans. It's
Right.
supposed to be powerful.
Yeah, it's an anti-Titan tank.
Yeah.
Like, that is literally what it is.
Well, they took the anti-Titan weapon and put two of them on there.
Exactly.
Like a shark penis.
What?
Sharks have forked penises. So do koalas.
Just in case they miss.
What shape penises do ducks have?
It's like mallard, like a specific mallard has like a corkscrew one that's about like 2
Wow.
feet long.
So Paul knows a lot about animal genitalia.
Yeah. It uncoils. I used to.
Your nerd knows no bounds.
It's true. I used to work in erotica review.
Right.
Yeah.
I actually heard the best saying last weekend at the cottage. It was like, the saying. So you said something obvious, and someone goes, "Oh, does a bear shit in the woods?" He goes, "Does a duck with a boner drag weeds?"
Gross.
Anyways, so running the Falchion, looking at the stats, it's a super heavy battle tank. I'm facing some other Forge World models, and it just hit everything it shot at and killed it in one go. It's 2d6 shots, so you're averaging 7 shots, hitting on 3s, strength 16.
I can't believe that's a thing.
Re-rolling wounds against other super heavies.
Just super heavies? Not little guys?
No. It has to have Titanic keyword, and it re-rolls wounds against it. It's minus 5 AP.
That's a lot. There's no other gun that has that.
No other gun that has minus
The
5
biggest
AP.
I've seen is -3.
4.
Four.
All melts are.
Yeah.
All melters are 4.
Oh, okay.
So it basically means that if you have a 2-up save and you're in cover, you no longer have a save. And then the damage, if you fail your save, which you don't get, is 2d6 damage.
For each.
Shot.
I don't think I can roll my eyes that far. Oh my god.
Yeah, so...
I mean, that's
No matter what it is, it's dead.
That's what you need to kill a Titan.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I brought it in a 2,000-point game.
Yeah, that's rude.
And like,
And what else does it have on it? Because
yeah.
Oh,
Not enough.
it's got 2 quad lasers, which are...
quad last cannons.
Quad las cannons, which are 4-shot las cannons on each sponson. It also has a twin-linked heavy bolter, which is hilarious because that's not actually on the model.
What?
Yeah.
Where would it even go?
I don't know. Like, it's not on the model. Like, it's not out right now, but, like, I double-checked the Forge World website. I'm like, did I buy the wrong kit and put this together? No, there's no twin-linked heavy bolter. The Fellblade and the Glaive have a twin-linked heavy
The
bolter.
Baneblade has a twin-link heavy bolter on the front of it.
That's
That
where
little
it
tiny turret.
That's where it should go, but it's not there.
It might
Yeah.
might just be like a copy and paste oversight. That's like there's one robot in the new indices that came out that has wounds for its stats change as it takes more wounds. So like from 12 to 7 it has whatever stats, and then from 5 to 4 it has like whatever stats.
So it has 6 wounds, nothing happens?
Yeah, there's if it has 6 wounds it can't shoot.
Just blank.
It has no stats if it has 6 wounds. Interesting. So yeah, I'm looking.
There's no stats at all.
I'm looking forward to more of the Forge World stuff, but this is clearly designed that if someone brings a Reaver Titan, I'll bring this thing.
Yeah.
Or if Tristan wants to bring Magnus.
I love how you managed to find the most overpowered thing before you even could conceive of the rules for 40k.
Yeah, I bought it way before this.
I know.
This rule set came out because I was
saying
like,
it's the nature of your nickname.
"It's the nature of my nickname."
Yeah.
Twin Link Volcano Cannon, go!
Meanwhile, they came out with the Typhon rules, and they were like strength 10, was it 2d6 damage or something?
Yeah,
Yeah, Something regular.
It's 2d6 shots, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's still really powerful.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah.
2d6 damage? I mean, that's pretty close. What's the AP?
Oh, I think the Typhon's d6 damage.
Decent. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it is for like just clearing out infantry.
Minus 4.
Minus 3.
Minus 3, minus 4.
Okay.
Probably
Pretty
the same.
standard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it went from like one of the dumbest guns in the game to now kind of just man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like, still good.
Still sounds wicked good, yeah.
Yeah. And if it doesn't move, it shoots double
But
range.
you're paying for that chassis that you're sitting on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, the Falchion it ended up being 840 points
Get out of here.
in a 2,000 point game,
Yeah, it's low.
right? So,
Yeah.
but nothing got within 24 inches of it. Killed everything it shot out of one turn. Yeah, never taken that unit again.
Do you remember what its combat stats are?
Yeah. It's like, it hits on 5s. So I was
It's
running
like
the...
9 attacks, right?
Yeah, it's got like 8 attacks, hitting on 5s, strength user, which is strength 9,
Wow.
minus 2 AP, and D3 damage.
It just like drives over things.
But the
Tank fights better than
funny part
characters.
is that the Chaos one, because I was running a Space Marine
Oh,
variant
the
yesterday.
Chaos one is the stupidest. I love it.
So the Chaos Forge World super heavy tanks have... a lot of their actual Forge World vehicles have the Machina Malefica. So instead of a machine spirit, it has an evil demon infesting it.
Right.
And as it drops in wounds, most vehicles and most units hit on a worse value. Chaos vehicles get better. So you start hitting on 5s, then as you lose wounds, your hits on 4, then you're eventually hitting on 3s.
Just making that demon angry.
You're making that demon angry, and at the end of the fight phase, where you've killed any models, not wounds, you roll a d6 equal to the amount of models you've removed, and you regain a wound for every roll of a 5-up.
Nice.
Eating people.
It's eating people and,
It literally,
and then renaming its own form.
It's the Mangler from that terrible Stephen King movie.
Didn't watch it.
No?
Which one?
That's the one where it's like a haunted laundry folding machine that kills people. It's a stretch, man. I think it might be like...
That does sound pretty ridiculous.
Stephen King was the ball of a bad bottle of scotch.
Yeah. We're glad you're better, Stephen.
So that's that. The Brass Scorpion's in there too. That's going to be fun to use. Chaos Knights, that's going to be fun to use. Fire Raptor.
I can't wait for the Fire Raptor!
I have the rules.
I know, but like...
Have you decided heavy bolters are better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically the difference is you either get 12 shots at strength 7 minus 1 AP, 1 damage with the Reaper autocannon batteries.
They didn't make them 2 damage like regular autocannons?
No, Reaper autocannons are not nearly as good as they should be.
Interesting.
Now,
Strange,
does the Space Marine one have Reaper autocannon?
No, the Space Marine one only gets the quad heavy bolters, but the quad heavy bolters is 24
No
shots.
options?
No.
What?
Not for its Sponson guns.
Weird.
Yeah. Maybe there's a twin linked autocannon in there.
I was
There's
going to
gotta
say, I
be,
find it weird that the Reaper autocannon's worse, because it should just be a twin-linked autocannon.
Yeah, it's
That's
not.
all a Reaper autocannon is.
Yeah, it's not.
It has been since second.
I know. I was bummed out when I saw the stats because
Wow.
my Terminators are all armed with Reaper autocannons, and I was like, oh,
Jeez.
they should be 2 damage. So it's so you got a difference between 12 shots or 24 shots. For the 24 shot, it's strength 5 minus 1 AP, 1 damage.
And just with the way that the wound chart works now, I mean, 5s is 5s. Doesn't matter your strength 7. If it's
Unless-
toughness 8, toughness 9, like
Unless you're going,
Yeah.
the only time it would be better is if you're going up against toughness
toughness
7.
7.
Yeah, if you want toughness 7 or toughness 10. Yeah.
Right.
Because toughness 7, you'd be wounding on 4s. Toughness 10, you're still wounding on 5s. And then against
All the difference between the autocannon and heavy
yeah,
bolter.
and then Eldar and Guard, I guess you're wounding them on 2s. But if you're firing a Reaper autocannon at Guardsmen,
You're out of ideas.
you're out of ideas. Yeah. So there's some fun stuff coming out of it. There's some cool units in there. There's like a Hellforged keyword that I'm interested to see what that means. And then like a Hellforged Mechanist or some sort of like Dark Mechanicus representative that's in the book. So there's going to be some cool stuff coming out from Forge World that I'm pretty stoked for. Yeah, you're going to have rules for your Storm Eagle.
Yay.
You're
It's
gonna have-
I mean,
your
it's-
Fire Raptor.
It's pretty much the same. I looked at it already.
Yeah.
I have the book.
I'm waiting for that to arrive from Nottingham.
Yeah, I've ordered them both. I'm waiting for them.
Did you order them with us or by yourself?
I'm with the group. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're busting down again. Tristan's being mentioned. We're busting down Tristan's door when he gets them because
Oh,
Tristan
yeah.
ordered ordered like 20 copies for the group, and I think that went way above 20 copies.
Oh, yeah.
So I told him I'm coming over to your house the moment Canada Post tells me that it's there.
Oh, you got the shipping number.
You're just constantly sitting around, refresh, in class, just refresh.
This hobby is bad for that. When you like get a package, and you're like, "Ooh, I've got a number to track."
Customs, just let it through. It's not drugs.
Yeah,
It's freaking books.
It's toy models. I don't. Yeah. What are you doing?
Oh, I love like ordering from third-party bit companies and like seeing what they put on the custom forms.
Toys. Value $5. That's not what I spent.
I ordered a bunch of stuff from like Max Mini one time, and when I opened it up, there was also just a bunch of like European lollipops.
Really?
Yeah, they're just like, heck it, like we're
Wow.
just gonna send this guy candy.
One time,
Pleasant.
mentioning Max Mini, one time I ordered something from them and they gave me extra stuff on top of it, like extra bits that had nothing to do with the bits that I ordered. There was like a Thousand Sun looking head, and an orc head, which I ended up using for that war boss that you squished.
It's good looking war
Went to
boss.
good use.
Yeah,
You're never going to let that go.
Nope. Yeah, so I don't know. Support Max Mini. They gave me candy once. Also,
That's
if you're
crazy.
listening to this Max Mini, support us.
Give us candy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's fun time. Forge World is out. Like I said, wasn't very fun for Phil. Wasn't very fun for me either. Using that valve, I'm not gonna lie.
It's like that scene in Cool Hand Luke where he makes him beat him up.
Yeah.
And no one's okay with it.
No one's okay with it. Was not
Have you
okay
seen
with
Cool Hand
that.
Luke?
I have.
What
But
we've
my-
got here is failure to communicate.
Yeah. That's where that line comes from.
Yeah. I'm more partial to the egg eating scene.
It's just not a movie that I stored in my brain.
Oh, dude, it's such a good
Stay tuned for our movie review coming up after the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We have a fun time next time.
Yeah.
So if you want to be on the podcast, if you have any ideas for the podcast, if you just want to talk to us, find us at Hogtown 40K on Facebook. Also at Encounter Wargaming
At gmail.com.
at gmail.com. Or I was just going to say Encounter Wargaming on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Or Battle Brothers. Or search Mr. Fist in Instagram. And we're not held responsible for anything else you might find.
Yeah.
Make sure your models are in focus.
Exactly. Though I did get called out by a friend in text where we got the snake bites and the blood axes confused.
Yeah, that was my bad. I realized that.
Yeah,
afterwards as well.
I caught that when I was listening to it, and you were like, "They don't use vehicles." I was like, "Blood axes
snake-
only use vehicles."
The snake bites.
What are
The
you
blood axes
talking
are
about?
blood axes are like commandos.
They're the ones who want to be humans.
Yes.
They try to
And
mimic humans.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that one? A guy built a bunch of orc commandos, and they all were holding like a piece of a rhino.
Yeah, and it goes
when
together
you
to make
put
a rhino.
all of
Yeah.
It
It actually becomes a rhino.
awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways.
Snake bites.
Snake bites are the technological and
Feral orcs.
yeah,
They're
basically.
feral orcs.
Yeah.
Blood axes use technology. What's your friend's name?
Blood axes want to be
Caleb.
humans.
Caleb. You know, why don't you just come after me? I made the mistake. Don't go after Paul just because you know him.
Anyways, I told him I would bring it up, and I figured fun time is the time.
Yeah. Any final thoughts, gentlemen?
I love it.
Love what?
All the things.
Yeah, start a club or join our club.
Join our club. We're
If
not,
you start your own club, we will absorb your club in a Sons of Anarchy style
Massive
patch over.
we're not a cult. Definitely not a cult.
Not a cult.
Thanks for listening. Tune in next time to find more fun stuff about Warhammer and our inane banter.
Yep. You deserve better than us, but you're not going to get it. This has been and will remain Paul Mr. Fist Fowler.
Point and click, Nick.
And Adam Truax, the truest axe to ever axe an axe.
And thanks for joining us. And check back again soon for some more 40k goodness. And remember, it's just inches and cubes.
Like a monkey in a rocket on his way back home. Okay.